Practice Test 3, Section 1, Listening Comprehension. Find the directions for this section of the test in your book and read along with them as they are read to you on the tape. This section tests your ability to comprehend spoken English. It is divided into 3 parts, each with its own directions. During actual exams, you are not permitted to turn the page during the reading of the directions or to take notes at any time.
Part A. Directions. Each item in this part consists of a brief conversation involving 2 speakers. Following each conversation, a third voice will ask a question. You will hear the conversations and questions only once, and they will not be written out. When you have heard each conversation and question, read the 4 answer choices and select the one, A, B, C, or D, that best answers the question based on what is directly stated or on what can be inferred. Then, fill in the space on your answer sheet that matches the letter of the answer that you have selected. Here is an example. You will hear,
"Do you think I should leave this chair against the wall or put it somewhere else?"
Over by the window, I'd say.
"What does the woman think the man should do?" You will read, A. Open the window. B. Move the chair. C. Leave the room. D. Take a seat. From the conversation, you find out that the woman thinks the man should put the chair over by the window. The best answer to the question, "What does the woman think the man should do?" is B. Move the chair. You should fill in B on your answer sheet. Now let's begin with the first conversation. Number 1.
"Why did it take them so long to fix your car?"
Well, for one thing, they had to remove the engine.
What does the woman mean? Number 2.
So, Patrick, now that your final exams are over, what are you going to do?
"I plan to take it easy for a couple of weeks or so."
What does Patrick tell the woman? Number 3.
I'm going to ask Greg to help me learn this computer program.
"Greg's pretty busy now, but I know a thing or two about this program myself."
What does the man imply? Number 4.
"How often does the bus go to Springsdale?"
Only twice a day.
What does the woman mean? Number 5.
"Professor Cassini, can we write our term paper on any topic we like?"
As long as you talk it over with me first.
What is learned from this conversation? Number 6.
I just found an old photo of this dormitory.
"It looks so different."
What can be inferred from this conversation? Number 7.
"I saw Rudy in chemistry class, and boy, he looked upset."
Yeah? I wonder how come.
What would the woman like to know about Rudy? Number 8.
Why isn't Patty going to the party tonight? Oh, you know Patty. She hates loud parties.
What can be inferred about Patty? Number 9.
You can either change planes in Chicago or Denver.
"You mean there's no direct flight from New York to Phoenix?"
Where does the man want to go? Number 10.
"Cindy, did you like that movie you saw last night?"
Oh, yes. But you know what? Halfway through it, I realized I'd seen it years before.
What does Cindy tell the man? Number 11.
Ted used to ask so many questions in Professor Beasley's class. Yeah, and then for some reason, he just stopped asking her anything.
What do the speakers say about Ted? Number 12.
So, Harry, were you able to solve the puzzle?
"Yes, but I'll tell you, it's a lot harder than it looks."
What does Harry tell the woman? Number 13.
Kelly, I thought you were going skiing this weekend.
I was hoping to, but that plan fell through.
What does Kelly tell the man? Number 14.
How's your cold, Ron?
It's gone from bad to worse, I'm afraid.
What does Ron mean? Number 15.
I picked up a few flowers for the dinner party.
A few? The dining room looks like a florist's shop.
What does the man imply about the woman? Number 16.
I wasn't in class the day Professor Mitchie gave out the schedule. Can I see yours?
Oh, sure. But he told us that there are a couple of mistakes on it.
What does the man mean? Number 17.
Now, this one shows the view right out of my hotel room. Wow, it looks just like a postcard.
What are the speakers probably doing? Number 18.
Steve left us some directions for finding the campground.
I saw them, and if these are the best directions we can get, we'll never find it.
What does the woman imply? Number 19.
You're wearing that old blue jacket to the theater tonight?
What else?
What does the man mean? Number 20.
Walter told me that he was late because he had a flat tire.
That's a likely story.
What does the woman mean? Number 21.
I'm sorry, Laura, but something's come up. I won't be able to meet with you today.
Well, how about the same time tomorrow? We can meet at that new coffee shop on 14th Street because this place will be closed then.
What does Laura mean? Number 22. How did you get that big dent in your door?
I have no idea. Yesterday I went into the shopping mall, and when I came back out to the parking lot, there it was.
What are the speakers discussing? Number 23.
I heard you're taking an advanced physics class. How's it going?
I'm out of my depth, I'm afraid.
What does the man mean? Number 24.
Hope you can make it to dinner tonight. We're serving fish and salad and some fresh corn from my garden.
Oh, you decided to have fish after all.
What had the man assumed? Number 25.
What's the matter, Rob?
I just locked my keys in my car, and I have to be at work in half an hour.
What is Rob's problem? Number 26.
Kathy, I want to hang this new picture. Do you have a hammer I can borrow?
No, but you could use this old shoe.
What does Kathy suggest the man do with the shoe? Number 27.
I can't decide which of these two articles would be more useful to read.
As far as I'm concerned, you can't go wrong.
What does the woman mean? Number 28.
I'd love to be up in the mountains where it's cool.
So you're not enjoying our weather this month?
What can be inferred from the man's remark? Number 29.
I just got some change from the change machine upstairs.
Oh, so someone finally fixed that.
What had the man originally assumed before talking to the woman? Number 30.
This is a great restaurant. You can get anything you want here.
Anything except good service.
What is the woman's opinion of the restaurant? Number 31.
You know, at first, I didn't realize what a comedian Howard is.
Oh, I know. He fools a lot of people.
How would the speakers describe Howard? Number 32.
I'm having a lot of trouble writing this paper.
If I were you, I'd go back to the drawing board.
What does the woman suggest the man do? Number 33.
What delicious salad.
How about another helping?
What does the man ask the woman about the salad? Number 34.
I didn't know you were interested in geology, Sam.
Well, it's a requirement to take at least one science course, and geology seemed like the easiest one.
Why is Sam taking the geology course? Number 35.
Have you ever seen a professional basketball game?
Only on television.
What does the man mean? Number 36.
Connie asked you a lot of questions, didn't she?
Yeah, she sure did. And I'd like to know what she was driving at.
What does the man wonder about Connie? Number 37.
Well, we found something nice for Jill. Now, what about Alan?
Let's stop by the sporting goods store and get an archery target. Alan loves archery.
What are these two probably doing? Number 38.
Gary, do you know when the work on that new road will be done?
The sooner the better, as far as I'm concerned.
What does Gary say about the new road? Number 39.
I had to wait 3 hours to see the doctor.
Oh, come on, Jim. I just heard you tell your roommate that you had a 2-hour wait.
What does the woman imply about Jim? Number 40.
Andy sure has a hot temper, doesn't he?
He does fly off the handle easily.
What do the speakers say about Andy? Number 41.
Professor Pottinger, you'll be giving your lecture on the causes of the Civil War next week, right?
The week after, actually.
What does Professor Pottinger say about the lecture? Number 42.
See you later. I'm going to the bank to deposit my check.
Oh, Marie, I really need some laundry detergent. If I give you some money, do you think you can pick up some on the way back?
What does the man ask Marie to do? Number 43.
What did you say when you were introduced to the author?
To tell you the truth, I was so tongue-tied, I could hardly say a word to her.
What does the man mean? Number 44.
Are you going to buy that car you looked at this afternoon?
Well, maybe. It's got a lot of miles on it, but I need a car with a lot of room, and it sure has that.
What does the woman like about the car? Number 45.
Look at these photos I took. They're terrible. I've got to try another camera.
Or take some photography lessons.
What does the woman imply? Number 46.
That was a difficult passage to translate.
I'll say. Even David had trouble with this one.
What does the woman imply about David? Number 47.
What kind of music would you like to hear?
Well, I haven't heard any good jazz for a while.
What does the man imply? Number 48.
Who was that woman you were talking to at the party?
Oh, that was Wendy Donovan. She was my roommate's best friend in high school.
How does the woman know Wendy Donovan? Number 49.
Did you see that notice from the landlord?
Yes, and I could hardly believe my eyes.
What does the woman say about the notice? Number 50.
Alice, what would you say if I told you that I asked a few more people to join our study group?
Oh, I wouldn't mind a bit.
What does Alice mean?
This is the end of Part A. Go on to Part B. Now read along with the directions for Part B in your book as they are read to you on the tape.
Part B. Directions. This part of the test consists of extended conversations between two speakers. After each of these conversations, there are a number of questions. You will hear each conversation and question only once, and the questions are not written out. When you have heard the questions, read the 4 answer choices and select the 1, A, B, C, or D, that best answers the question based on what is directly stated or on what can be inferred. Then, fill in the space on your answer sheet that matches the letter of the answer that you have selected. Don't forget, during actual exams, taking notes or writing in your test book is not permitted. Now let's begin Part B with the first conversation. Questions 51 to 54. Listen to a conversation between two friends.
Kirk, I understand your jazz band is going to play at the Student Center Ballroom. I just saw a poster advertising the event, and I called to tell you I'll be there.
Oh, thanks. But I'm not in that band anymore. In fact, I'm not in a group at all right now.
That's too bad. You're such a talented musician. Why did you leave the group?
I just couldn't be a full-time student and still rehearse with a band every night. I missed a couple of practice sessions during my midterm exams. I thought I'd better quit before the band leader fired me.
Say, you know my friend Charlie, don't you? He plays saxophone and trumpet, and he and some of his friends are getting a band together. I bet they could use a good drummer.
I wouldn't have time for that either.
Oh, I don't think they'll practice very often. Charlie and his friends are all students, too.
Do they plan to perform?
No, I don't think so. They just enjoy playing jazz. Here, I'll give you his number, and you can get in touch with him.
Number 51. What prompted the woman to call the man? Number 52. The man implies that he left the band for which of the following reasons? Number 53. What role did the man probably play in the band? Number 54. What does the woman suggest that the man do in order to contact her friend? Questions 55 to 58. Listen to a telephone conversation.
Hello, Campus Daily, Advertising Department. This is Mark speaking.
Hi, I'm calling to place a couple of ads.
Sure. Under what classification?
Well, I'd like one in the Roommates Wanted section.
All right. And how would you like your ad to read?
It should read, Female Roommate Wanted for Pleasant, Sunny, 2-bedroom apartment on Elliewood Avenue, 3 blocks from campus. Share rent and utilities. Available September 1st. Call between 5 and 9 p.m. and ask for Cecilia.
Fine. And what about your other ad?
That one I'd like under Merchandise for Sale, and I'd like it to read, Matching blue sofa and easy chair for sale. Excellent condition, $350 or best offer. Call between 5 and 9 p.m. and ask for Cecilia. Did you get all that?
Uh-huh. You'll want your phone number on these, right?
Oh, sure. Thanks for reminding me. It's 555-6792.
And how long do you want these ads to run?
For a week, I guess. How much would that be?
Let's see. It's $5 a week per line. Your 2 ads will both take up 3 lines, so that's $15 per ad.
Number 55. Where does Mark work? Number 56. Which of the following is Cecilia trying to find? Number 57. Which of the following did Cecilia initially forget to tell Mark? Number 58. What is the total amount that the woman has to spend for the 2 advertisements? Questions 59 to 63. Listen to a conversation between 2 friends.
Hi, Shelley. How was your vacation?
Great. I went to New Orleans.
Really? Why did you decide to go there?
Well, I have a cousin who lives there. She's been trying to get me to take a vacation down there for a long time, and so finally she talked me into it.
How did you get there?
Well, at first I was going to drive, but my cousin said parking is a big problem there, so I flew. Once I was there, I took buses and streetcars.
I've seen some pictures of New Orleans. The architecture there is really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible, especially in the French Quarter and in the Garden District where my cousin lives. And I loved the spicy food there, and the music, of course. My cousin took me to some great little restaurants and jazz clubs.
How was the weather when you were there?
That's about the only thing I didn't enjoy. It was really hot and sticky.
Wasn't New Orleans originally a French city?
Yes, the French founded it. And then the King of France gave it to the King of Spain. And later the French took it over again. And then the French sold it to the United States along with the rest of the Louisiana Purchase.
I remember reading in a history book about the Battle of New Orleans. That was during the War of 1812, wasn't it?
Right. The Americans under Andrew Jackson fought a battle with the British near there. In fact, Jackson Square in the French Quarter is named after him.
Well, it sure sounds like you had a great time.
Oh, I sure did. And I plan to go back there next spring for the Mardi Gras Festival.
Number 59. What are these people primarily discussing? Number 60. According to the conversation, how did the woman get to New Orleans? Number 61. What was one aspect of New Orleans that the woman did not enjoy? Number 62. Which of the following groups originally founded New Orleans? Number 63. According to the woman, what role did Andrew Jackson play in the history of New Orleans?
Now read along with the directions for Part C in your book as they are read to you on the tape.
Part C. Directions. This part of the test consists of several talks, each given by a single speaker. After each of these talks, there are a number of questions. You will hear each talk and question only once, and the questions are not written out. When you have heard each question, read the 4 answer choices and select the one, A, B, C, or D, that best answers the question based on what is directly stated or on what can be inferred. Then fill in the space on your answer sheet that matches the letter of the answer that you have selected. Here is an example. You will hear,
Students, this evening we'll have a chance to observe a phenomenon that we've discussed several times in class. Tonight there will be a lunar eclipse. As we've said, when an eclipse of the moon occurs, the Earth passes between the sun and the moon. Therefore, the shadow of the Earth moves across the surface of the moon and obscures it. Because you won't be looking at the sun, it is not necessary to use the special lenses and filters that you need when observing a solar eclipse. You can observe a lunar eclipse with your unaided eye, or with a telescope, and photograph it with an ordinary camera. So if the weather's not cloudy tonight, go out and take a look at this eclipse of the moon. I'm sure you'll find it interesting.
Now, here is a sample question. You will hear, in what course is this lecture probably being given? You will read, A, philosophy, B, meteorology, C, astronomy, D, photography. The lecture concerns a lunar eclipse, a topic that would typically be discussed in an astronomy class. The choice that best answers the question, in what course is this lecture probably being given, is C, astronomy. You should fill in C on your answer sheet. Here's another sample question. You will hear, According to the speaker, which of the following occurs during a lunar eclipse? You will read A. The Earth's shadow moves across the moon. B. Clouds block the view of the moon. C. The moon moves between the Earth and the Sun. D. The Sun can be observed without special equipment. From the lecture, you learn that a lunar eclipse occurs when the Earth moves between the Sun and the Moon, and the shadow of the Earth passes across the Moon. The choice that best answers the question, according to the speaker, which of the following occurs during a lunar eclipse, is A. The Earth's shadow moves across the Moon. Don't forget, during actual exams, taking notes or writing in your test book is not permitted. Now let's begin Part C with the first talk. Questions 64 to 67. Listen to part of a lecture given in a class in film studies.
Class, today we're going to continue our discussion of special genres of film. In our last class, we talked about Westerns and saw some excerpts from some of those movies, such as High Noon and Duel in the Sun. Today, we'll shift our attention to science fiction film. Most people think of science fiction as a fairly modern genre, but in fact, one of the first commercial films ever made was about a trip to the moon. In the 1930s, there were some excellent prophetic films about the future, including Things to Come, which is based on a story by the famous author H.G. Wells. The so-called golden age of science fiction movies took place in the 1950s, when hundreds of such films were made. Some of these turned out to be unforgettable classics. Some of these, frankly, were awful films, and the only reason we watch them today is that they seem quaint and sometimes unintentionally funny, with their low-budget special effects and wooden dialogue. A renaissance in science fiction films took place in the late 1970s, when George Lucas released his first Star Wars film. It had a fast pace, interesting characters, and finally, special effects came of age. It was wildly popular then, and remains popular now, and many similar films have followed. Now, I think you'll find your homework for this weekend rather enjoyable. The Paramount Theater is holding a science fiction film festival over the weekend. They're showing a dozen films, all made during the golden age of science fiction. They're showing some of the real classics, including my personal favorite, The Day the Earth Stood Still, as well as some movies that have seldom been seen since they were first released back in the 1950s. I'd like all of you to attend at least 2 or 3 of these films, and be prepared to talk about your reactions to them in class on Monday.
Number 64. What is the main topic of this lecture? Number 65. According to the speaker, which of the following is a Western film? Number 66. What can be inferred about the movies being shown this weekend at the Paramount Theater? Number 67. What does the speaker ask the audience to be ready to do on Monday? Questions 68 to 71. Listen to a talk about hydrogen-fueled vehicles.
It's the goal of nearly all automakers to produce a car that causes no air pollution at all, a zero-emission vehicle, or ZEV. Some states have even mandated that manufacturers make ZEVs available by a certain deadline. So far, most research has been done on electric cars, but such battery-operated cars have certain disadvantages. The biggest drawback is that electric cars must have their batteries recharged every 100 miles or so. Recently, engineers have completed some encouraging research
on the use of hydrogen as a fuel. They believe that vehicles with internal combustion engines can become ZEVs if they switch from gasoline to hydrogen. When hydrogen is mixed with oxygen and burned, it produces no toxic fumes, only water vapor. However, because it is such a volatile gas, engines burning hydrogen are always backfiring. The engineers learned that if rotary engines are used instead of conventional piston-driven engines, there is no backfiring, just smooth acceleration. Some people wonder if hydrogen-fueled cars would be safe. As it turns out, they are safer than gasoline-fueled cars. That's because they don't store free hydrogen in tanks. The hydrogen is bound to metal and released as needed. The main problem with hydrogen is that there's simply not enough available. If hydrogen-fueled cars become popular, there will be a need to build hundreds of massive hydrogen-producing plants.
Number 68. How does the speaker probably feel about the development of hydrogen-fueled cars? Number 69. According to the speaker, researchers trying to develop zero-emission vehicles have concentrated until recently on which of the following? Number 70. According to the speaker, hydrogen-fueled cars produce which of the following? Number 71. According to the speaker, which of the following is the primary problem with large-scale use of hydrogen-fueled cars? Questions 72 to 75. Listen to a talk about parrots.
First off, I'd like to clear up a couple of popular misconceptions about parrots. For one thing, they do not all have brilliant, colorful plumage. In fact, some are quite plain-looking birds with dull-colored feathers. Another misconception is that parrots all live in hot tropical forests. In fact, some species live high in the mountains. One species, the Kia parrot, lives near the highland glaciers of New Zealand. The only type of climate that parrots cannot tolerate is an extremely dry one. There are 816 types of parrots, and all of them can speak at least a few words when kept as pets. The champion talker is the gray parrot, which can learn 200 or 300 words. Parrots also have remarkable singing skills. Among us humans, the ability to sing exactly on key is called perfect pitch, and only 1 out of about 500 of us have it. All parrots are born with this knack. Parrots also have a perfect sense of rhythm, never missing a beat.
Number 72. What is the speaker's first purpose in giving this talk? Number 73. Which of the following environments would be least favorable for parrots? Number 74. What does the speaker say about the gray parrot? Number 75. What ability are all parrots born with?
Questions 76 to 80. Listen to part of a classroom lecture.
Today, class, we're going to talk about the traditional homes of the Inuit people of the Arctic. The Inuit, or Eskimos as they are sometimes called, generally had 2 homes, one for summer and one for winter. During the summer, they usually lived in tents made of either canvas or animal skin. The Inuit built 3 types of winter homes, depending on where they lived. In northern Alaska, where driftwood is plentiful, most winter homes were domes of wood covered with earth. In Labrador and Greenland, winter homes were generally constructed of flat stones. Only in the central Canadian Arctic did they generally build houses of snow. Canadians of European descent called these igloos, but to the Inuit, any kind of house is called an igloo. To make a snow house, the Inuit stacked blocks of wind-packed ice in a rising spiral of ever smaller circles. They filled in the cracks with loose snow. A skilled Inuit could build a snow house in around 2 hours. The Inuit are the only people who built such domes without support underneath. Heat from a lamp warmed the house, while the bitter outside air prevented it from melting. An Inuit family ate and slept on a platform of packed snow covered with furs. The snow house also featured an entrance tunnel that was lower than the floor. This served as a trap for cold outside air. There was also a small opening in the roof covered with sealskin that could be opened to let out stale air and ventilate the house. Today, almost all Inuit live in permanent all-year housing, but they sometimes build these wonderful traditional houses of snow, and a few even continue to live in them.
Number 76. Which of the following was used by the Inuit as the main material for a summer house? Number 77. Where were snow houses the main form of winter house? Number 78. What does the word igloo mean to an Inuit? Number 79. What was one unique feature of the snow houses built by the Inuit? Number 80. How was sealskin used in snow houses?
This is the end of Section 1, Listening Comprehension. Stop work on Section 1.